What's up, Bridge Nation? We're back with another video. Week 16 analysis and waiver ads. It's been a crazy week of fantasy basketball. Andrew Wiggins went from being not vaccinated to be an all-star starter. So, a lot of surprises. Let's get started. Kick this off with fantasy meme of the week. I don't know if this hasn't happened to me before, but I don't know if you just add a player, hoping they help you get through the week, get through your close matchup, and all they give you is negative points.
It happens.
I hope that doesn't happen to you. I feel like this is what LeBron feels like when he plays with Westbrook, when he played with J.R. Smith. Yeah. Next slide is our games played. Use it as reference as you will. Stay away from Jazz because they're only playing 2 games, and there are a lot of games missing from the Western Conference teams. From all the way from Spurs down to Lakers, they're playing 3 games, which is not terrible. That'll balance your matchup. But yeah, go for those 4 games, not 3. Our total games played, again, use it as reference. It's pretty well spread out. We usually have days where it's like 11 on one day and 2 on the next, but this is pretty evenly well spread out. So make sure you set those lineups and make sure your players are playing, like the players that you want them to play are playing. And you don't want to have Nikola Jokic's sitting on the bench because they were auto rostered. That being said, best team for fantasy, best teams will be the Heat and Sacramento Kings. Now that says a lot about this week in fantasy because, Sacramento Kings and Miami Heat. But if you got players on that team, this just means that they're playing 4 games and they're playing on the days where they're least number of games. So the players that are rostered from those teams will get a lot of opportunities.
Okay, now we'll go over some players to add in most standard leagues, 12-team leagues, 14-team leagues, leagues like that. So we'll start off with Jayshawn Tate. We changed our format a little bit so you can kind of see how he's been doing in his previous 5 games here. And he's just been, he's been strong recently, putting up stats in every category. He also plays in 4 games this week, which I think is important to look at. He's been playing minutes in the mid-20s. Porter reportedly has COVID, so we could see him get some more shots up. That just adds to his already decent fantasy value. He's also 69% rostered, which I didn't see earlier, but that's, there you go. What else do you need to hear?
Ideal. We like those.
Yeah, no one changed anything. No one added him. No one dropped him. No.
So next on our list is Steven Adams. I think he's a slept-on player. I heard from Hayden over earlier that he's inconsistent. So let us know how you feel about Steven Adams. But he's been putting up 25 fantasy points this season. He went off today and dropped close to a 50 fantasy point game. He's got 3 games coming up this week, and I think he could have value beyond this week, depending on the league you're in. So just a name to watch. Luke Kennard. The Clippers rotation right now it's all over the place. I'm not too sure what they're doing, but Kennard could be that guy that ends up taking up some of those minutes, stealing minutes from other players, like maybe your Bledsoe, your Terrence Mann, just players like that. Morris has also been out recently, so that could have factored into him just getting those minutes. He's been hitting some pretty big shots. I was looking at his free throws on here, and they've been nearly perfect, which it's kind of nice if you're looking for that. He should give you strong scoring most games on really high percentages from the 3-point line. All right. Otto Porter Jr., he's currently starting, and I don't see any news of that changing with Draymond still injured. He's currently currently in this game, the Brooklyn game just ended, but he finished with over 36 fantasy points, and that was a relatively close game. It wasn't a blowout or anything, so it looks like he has a decent role on that team right now. He puts up stats across the board, and again, he plays in 3 games this week, so another name to watch.
All right, so yeah, Mason Plumlee, next name we got here on the list. So starting center for the Charlotte Hornets. He's the main big man in that rotation, so he's had some good games.
Gotta hype him up, come on. Mason Plumlee.
That's your boy. It's 17 rebounds in the most recent game, so give him a flex on that. But yeah, he's 40% rostered, averaging 23 points. If you want to get a center in your rotation, he's a great option. Gets the minutes. He played 38 minutes in the last game, for example, so I think he's worth adding. Next, we got Trey Lyles. So he's been with the Pistons, been playing pretty well. I think he's been having increased minutes due to Kelly Olynyk and Jeremy Grant missing some games. Kind of going off that though, like he has produced really big games. You see 18 points, 2 blocks, 2 steals in the most recent one. Really big numbers, and with Jeremy Grant potentially being looked at being traded as the trade deadline approaches here on February 10th, maybe that just keeps a consistent role for Trey Lyles to continue producing around 20 fantasy points a game. So keep your eyes on him. Might be worth giving an ad. We got Cody Martin next. I feel a little bit bad talking about Alex's boy here, but he's averaging 22 fantasy points on the season. He's only 14% rostered. I think that alone there kind of speaks enough to like why he's worth adding. Whenever Charlotte has players missing some games, he's able to step in, and even when the team's healthy, he has a consistent 20 plus minutes a night type of role on the team, able to really fill it up from all areas of the stat sheet. So someone worth taking a chance on there. We got Dante DiVincenzo, so he's coming off the bench behind Grayson Allen for the Bucks currently. I do think there's a chance that he could potentially find his way into the starting lineup over Grayson Allen as the season goes, as DiVincenzo gets more games under him after the injury that he's experiencing. He did have one game where he put up a 20-point night. Even as is, he's playing above 20 minutes a game, playing pretty well. Does have that opportunity to see the role grow, so only 10% rostered. Might be someone worth grabbing when he's there.
All right, next up, we're going to take a look at Killian Hayes. Now, we feel bad for this guy because he's been in and out of our videos numerous occasions a lot, and he just hasn't found a niche to, really go off. But given his very low rostering in the leagues, he's putting up around 20 fantasy points, and that's pretty good. Like as being the 11th to 13th guy on their team, he puts out 19 to 20. Some days he can explode and put up like 30, 35 fantasy points. You really want that. We hope that he's not your number one guard. Maybe he's your backup guard on the team. If he's available in your league, pick up. He'll be a good addition for you. We'll move on to KJ Martin. I wrote a note here. I mean, hopefully this is not someone you need to add. You're looking at a backup small forward, I think, in the Houston Rockets. So you're not getting much out of the guy. 6% rostered at a respectable amount of fantasy point production. But again, he's a replaceable guy in the Rockets because there's absolutely nothing going on for the Rockets. Anyone who kind of does something good will get a roster point. If KJ Martin is that guy for the Rockets, then he's a guy you can pick up. We're going to move on to Austin Reeves, also known as AR-15. I find it questionable that a guy from Arkansas is called AR-15. I'm just going to leave that to some other time. He is, like, I see the next Caruso in him. He is just this workhorse. He goes out there, tries his best. He's definitely not the best basketball player, but he definitely tries to do his job. You must have seen on every major sports platform him getting hella confused by LeBron James's playmaking, which he's not the only one sometimes. So I can't blame the guy. I think like later in the season he's gonna have an opportunity to really do a lot better than he is right now because Westbrook is just being Westbrook. He's good for like 15 minutes of a game and he's just off for 3-4 games. So if Frank Vogel's half the coach I think he is, he'll give Austin Reeves a better chance alongside LeBron than Westbrook, who's just kind of messing up left and right. Last guy we're going to talk about is Jelly Belly CJ Elvey. So Portland is just going through some crazy times right now. Damian Lillard is basically out for the season, and he has been out, and it's almost confirmed that he is out for the rest of the season. Norman Powell missed a lot of games for numerous reasons. He was out for COVID for 10 days. He had an injury. He then missed 6 games or something for personal reasons. Again, like as an athlete, you go through stuff like that, whatever. But for your fantasy team, that's just really not good. So if you really need an opportunity to, make use of the Portland roster situation, I would add CJ Ellaby here. He is putting up pretty decent numbers for barely being rostered. So those are all the ads for this week. I hope you all enjoyed it. Boys, you got anything to add?
I think we're good. Just stay safe, everyone.
Yeah, see you guys in another video.